Hi and hello to all our grade 5 learners. So, welcome to our new episode, a new lesson for P and Health for grade 5. We are at quarter 3 and this will be our first lesson for this week. And we're going to talk about medicines as health products. Okay, so before we start, let's have our learning competency for this week. So, explain the proper use of medicines as health products to prevent misuse and harm to the body. And for our lesson objectives, letter A, identify uses and types of medicines. B, appreciate the proper use of medicines. And letter C, show how to prevent medicine misuse and abuse. Okay, so let me ask you, what is medicine for you? Ano ba ang gamot para sa iyo? Ano ba ang nagagawa nito sa tao? Ano kaya ang posibleng mangyari kapag ginamit natin ito ng tama at kung gagamitin natin ito ng mali? So what are the pros and cons if we use it properly and if we misuse it? Okay, so but first, before answering those questions, okay, we have here the words medicine, protection, prevention, and cure. So, mapapansin natin, they are all related to one another. So, we use medicines as form of protection, as form of prevention, and of course, we use this typically to cure diseases. Okay, so now, to further understand, okay, let's try to unlock this vocabulary and understand the meaning of this word. So, medicines are chemicals or compounds intended to treat, stop, or prevent diseases. So, to reduce symptoms or to aid in the diagnosis of disorder. So, talagang ginagamit natin ang gamot or medicine sa paggamot, hindi ba? O kaya pagpigil, o kaya naman para hindi tayo magkaroon ng sakit. So, ginagamit na natin ito para prevention pa lang, para hindi tayo dapuan na ng sakit. Para rin naman mabawasan yung sintomas o maalis yung mga sintomas ng mga posibleng sakit na dumapo sa atin. At syempre ginagamit din ito para sa paggamot ng iba't ibang sakit o kaya naman ng ibang mga diagnosis sa atin. And protection, it is the act of keeping someone or something safe from injury, damage, or loss. So, ginagawa natin, kumbaga yung protection, ito talaga yung ginagamit natin, lalo na kung ito ay bagay, para maprotektahan tayo, lalo na sa mga hindi magaganda o hindi ka nais-nais na mga bagay. So, batay sa ating aralin ngayon, so ito yung protection, ibig sabihin para hindi tayo magkaroon ng sakit. Prevention, ito naman yung act of stopping something from happening or of stopping someone from doing something. Ibig sabihin, hindi na natin hahayaan pa na magkaroon tayo ng sakit. So in forms of vaccines, 'di ba? From the start, pagkapanganak pa lang, there are different vaccines na binibigay sa inyo, sa ating lahat, sa mga babies para to prevent them from getting those diseases. Or ibig sabihin, magkaroon man sila ng ganong sakit, hindi na ganoon kalala at mas madali na itong malunasan. So, ibig sabihin, pag prevention, palagi nating narinig, prevention is better than cure. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka pa nagkakaroon, pero sinisimulan mo ng protektahan yung sarili mo. Okay? Hindi mo na hinahayaan na mangyari pa sa'yo o hindi mo hinahayaan at hindi mo inaantay na magkaroon ka pa ng sakit bago kumilos o bago mag-take ng gamot. And then cure, to make someone healthy again or to cause an illness to go away. So, ginagamot, di ba? Para maalis yung sakit. So, ito yung ginagamit natin specifically kung ito ay sakit para matanggal na or mawala na yung sakit at maging healthy ulit ang isang tao. Okay, so let's have our subtopic 1. It's the uses of medicines as protection, prevention, and cure. Okay, so we have here some questions to analyze. So, do you have ideas about the uses of medicines? Alam mo ba kung saan ginagamit ang mga gamot? Now, have you used medicine? Okay, so gumamit ka na ba or nakainom ka na ba ng gamot? For example, sa ubo or sa sipon or sa lagnat. Now, Do you think medicine is helpful and why? Sa tingin mo ba nakakatulong sa atin ang gamot at bakit? And what do you think is the purpose of medication? Ano kaya ang layunin ng paggagamot? Okay, so yun yung mga sasagutin natin sa mga susunod na slides. So now let's talk about medicine as protection. Medicines such as immunizations and vaccines protect our bodies from harmful germs, viruses, or bacteria. When we get vaccinated, our immune system learns how to fight off specific diseases. So if we are exposed to them in the future, our body already knows how to defend itself. For example, vaccines for measles or flu help protect us from getting sick. These types of medicine act like a shield that strengthens our body's defense system. Diba nabanggit natin kanina na kapag kapanganak pa lang ng isang baby ay binabakunahan na siya. So para maprotektahan siya sa mga malalang sakit. Okay? So 'di ba, meron tayong record book sa ating mga center o kaya naman sa ating mga pediatricians na kung saan yung baby book na yun nandoon lahat ng immunization or vaccines na binibigay sa atin. Bakit mahalaga yung mga vaccines? Dahil tinutulungan nito yung ating immune system, no, na palakasin, and at the same time, hindi lang siya basta palakasin, makilala niya at matutunan ng katawan natin kung paano dedepensahan ang mga viruses na ito, no, yung mga bacteria na ito. Nang sa gayon, kapag dapuan tayo, no, na ayaw naman natin mangyari sa hinaharap, alam na ng katawan natin, prepared na siya kung paano labanan ang mga sakit na ito. So, yan. So, for example, yearly, nagkakaroon tayo ng flu vaccine kasi lalo-lalo na ngayon, nagbabago yung panahon, madalas na tayong lalo na yung pagpapalit ng mga season, pagpapalit ng panahon, nauuso lagi yung ubo, sipon, at lagnat. Hindi ba? So, kailangan talaga tayo ay yearly nagpapa-flu vaccine. So, hopefully, no, magkaroon ng project yung ating Department of Health na lahat sana ng ating mga estudyante ay mabigyan ng libreng flu vaccine, no? So, sana dumating yung panahon na magkaroon ng ganoong programa. Nang sa gayon, lahat ng bata na nag-aaral ay protektado laban sa sakit. Okay, so ito yung nagiging kasing shield or protection. Kaya nga medicine as protection para lumakas lalo yung ating defense system. Okay, so that is medicine as protection. Okay, so next we have medicine as prevention. Some medicines are used to prevent diseases from happening in the first place. These are called prophylactic drugs. For example, people who travel to areas with malaria might take antimalarial medicine to stop the disease before it starts. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa nga nagsisimula, hinihinto mo na, no? Hindi mo na i-allow yung sarili mo na magkaroon pa ng ganong klaseng sakit. So another example is PrEP, okay? I don't know if it is the right pronunciation for this, which is taken by people at risk of certain infections to prevent them from developing the illness. In short, preventive medicines are like a warning system. Okay, so if yung medicine as protection is the shield, okay? Kumbaga siya yung dumidepensa, no? Nagbibigay ng malakas na depensa sa ating katawan. Okay, ang preventive prevention or yung medicine as prevention will serve as a warning system. Okay, they prepare and protect us before the sickness can even begin. Yun na nga, hindi pa nagsisimula, hininto mo na, pinigilan mo na. Okay, so that is medicine as prevention. Ibig sabihin, for example, dito, no, yun nga, yung mga tao na pupunta sa mga bansa na may cases or mataas ang kaso ng malaria na alam naman nating deadly, ano? So, hindi pa man sila or papunta pa lang sila ay umiinom na sila ng anti-malarial medicine. Nang sa gayon, pag nandoon sila, hindi na sila magkaroon. Meron na kaagad silang pandepensa. No? Kumbaga, hindi na tatalab sana, no? Hindi na tatalab sa kanila kapag nakagat ng lamok na carrier ng malaria. Okay. So, medicine as cure. Most medicines are designed to treat and cure diseases. So, ito naman talaga, no, yung pinakamalaking use ng gamot. So, para gamutin yung ating mga sakit. They work by fighting infection. So, nilalabanan nila yung mga infection natin sa katawan. Yung pagkontrol sa mga sintomas ng mga posibleng maging sakit. Or fixing what causes the illness. For example, antibiotics kill bacteria that cause infections, while pain relievers help reduce pain and fever. Di ba? So, yung mga antibiotics, tinitake yan. So, hindi yan pwedeng basta-basta mabili over the counter. Kailangan niya ng reseta. So, yun yung mga i-discuss natin later on. So, yung antibiotics, pinapatay niya yung mga bacteria na nagkukos ng infection. So, bakit ba tayo nilalagnat? So, ibig sabihin, something is wrong within the body. Diba? So, nagkakalagnat tayo kasi nagsastart ng mag-act yung mga defense mechanism natin sa katawan. Ngayon, kapag ilang araw na, no, na hindi bumababa ang lagnat, so 3 days na hindi bumababa ang lagnat, pa-check up na kaagad. Baka may mga infection tayo na kailangan na ng antibiotics. Kasi may mga lagnat na halimbawa 1 day or 2 days, so nawawala lang kapag uminom tayo ng mga ating mga pampababa ng fever reducer natin ng mga gamot, hindi ba? Pero kapag lumagpas na ng pang 3 araw na, hindi pa din. So, kailangan mag-seek na tayo ng professional help from our doctors. I-check na nila, baka may something is wrong na kailangan ng gamutin ng antibiotic. So, para mamatay yung mga bacteria kung meron man at maitama kung ano man yung kailangang itama sa ating katawan. So, yung pain reliever naman, ginagamit kapag para maibsan yung sakit na nararamdaman natin or kapag masakit ang ulo, ganyan. Pero at the same time, hindi po ito basta-basta iniinom. Kailangan po ito ng ng reseta, no, ng isang doktor. Okay, so these medicines help our bodies recover faster and bring us back to good health. In this way, they act as healing tool, helping our body to return to its normal healthy state. Kasi madalas, pag sobrang pagod yung katawan, humihina yung ating immune system, yung defense mechanism ng katawan natin, bumababa. So, para tulungan tayo mas mapabilis yung ating pag-recover, so umiinom tayo ng gamot, di ba? Then, sasabayan natin ng maraming inom ng tubig, pahinga, para mas mabilis na makarecover yung ating katawan. Okay. Our next topic will be types of medicines. So, ito na yung sinasabi natin kanina. There are medicines that you can buy over the counter, meaning to say, hindi mo na kailangan ng reseta mula sa doktor. So, prescription, ito naman yung nangangailangan ng reseta. So, nire-regulate ito. Hindi ito basta-basta pinagbibili kung kani-kanino without the prescription from the doctor, and complementary medicine. So, malalaman natin kung ano yung pagkakaiba ng mga ito. Now, what is the difference between over-the-counter, prescription, and complementary medicines? Ano ba ang pagkakaiba? So, yung over-the-counter, gaya ng binanggit natin kanina, readily available. Ibig sabihin, pwede natin itong mabili kahit saan or sa mga butika na hindi na nangangailangan ng reseta or prescription from the doctor. Prescription drugs or prescription medicines, ito yung mga gamot na kailangan mabibili mo lamang kapag may prescription or advice ng doctor. And complementary medicine, so kasama na dito yung mga massage, yung mga hilot, yung mga alternative ways na kung paano tayo matutulungan, makarecover yung katawan natin in case magkaroon tayo ng sakit. So aside from medicine, so we can use this complementary medicines like yoga, yung mga massage oil, aromatherapy, and the like. Now, can you give one example of over-the-counter prescription and complementary medicine? So, over-the-counter, yung mga nabibili nating fever reducers, di ba? Yung mga binabibili natin for colds and cough, so flu, or prescription, these are antibiotics. No? Tip number 1 is antibiotics. And then, complementary medicines, so siguro yung mga patch, no, na pwede nating ilagay to relieve the pain, yung mga healing patches natin, o pwede yung mga ointment natin na pinapahid sa katawan, o yung mga oils, no, yung mga yung mga oils na ginagamit natin to relieve yung pain, o for example, masakit ng ulo. So, alam na natin yung mga pinapahid ng ating mga nanay at mga tito at tita. So, we can consider that as complementary medicines. Okay, so there are several varieties of medicines. They can come in the form of liquid, pill, capsule, cream, lotion, powder, sprays, inhalers, drops, or injections. Medical professionals employ medications to reduce the signs and symptoms of illness, and in some cases, they can even cure or eliminate the ailments. Health providers write prescriptions for medication so that patients with illnesses can carry on with their regular lifestyles. There are varieties of medicine that belong to the two types, the over-the-counter medicines or OTC and prescription medicine. Yung laging may nakikita tayong R, X yung kanyang symbol. Let's start with the over-the-counter medicine. So, these are drugs that we can buy without doctor's prescription. These are examples of medicines in this type. Antacid is a medicine that reduces stomach acid production. It could be a pill that dissolves in water to drink, a chewable gummy, or a liquid. So kapag sinisikmura tayo, nagtitake tayo ng mga antacid natin. Next, we have analgesics. These are medications used to treat pain or discomfort brought on by illness, injury, or surgery. They are also known as painkillers or pain relievers. Over-the-counter medications can be used to treat mild pain. However, prescription pharmaceuticals are required for severe pain management such as opioids. Okay, so kapag mga minor pain lang naman, so we can buy that over the counter. Pero kapag, for example, galing sa surgery, no, at para hindi mo ma-feel yung kirot ng operation mo, so kailangan nun ng mga prescription ng doctor kasi mas matataas na dose ang kailangan doon para ma-relieve yung pain. Okay, but for minor pain, so pwede yung or mga minor pain, yung mga sakit ng ulo or ano pa, masakit na kaspasuan, so pwede yan mga over-the-counter lang. But of course, hindi po yan basta-basta, okay? In moderation lang po yan. At make sure, especially kung tinitake to as a pill or yung mga tablets, make sure to drink a lot of water. Another is decongestant. So it's a medication that works by decreasing edema, irritation, and mucus production in the nasal or ocular passages. It relieves sinus and nasal congestion, such as stuffy or blocked noses or nasal congestion. So ito yung mga binibili natin, no, to kasi syempre kapag tayo ay may sipon, talagang medyo kasama na doon yung sakit ng ulo. Magka-partner sila. So, kailangan nating uminom ng decongestant para hindi din tayo mahirapang huminga. O, lalo na yung mga babies, kawawa sila kapag may sipon kasi nabablock yung airways nila at nahihirapan silang huminga. Next, we have laxative, sometimes known as purgative. It's a drug that softens or loosens stool and promotes bowel movement. This medication is used to both treat and avoid hard bowel movements or constipation. So, pag halimbawa, ilang araw ka nang hindi nakakadumi, no, kailangan uminom ka ng ganito para hindi makatulong, para mapabilis yung bowel movement. Pero kung hindi naman, kung normal naman, huwag na uminom ng ganito. Kasi syempre, pag laxative, talagang expect mo na medyo mapapadalas ang inyong pagpunta ng toilet. Okay, another OTC are anti-diarrheal. Medication work to either prevent or reduce diarrhea or the frequent passing of a loose, watery stool. So, kung yung laxative, pang-papoop, ito namang anti-diarrheal para naman hindi mapadalas. Kasi syempre, delikado din kapag medyo ang stool natin ay watery. Baka tayo naman ay ma-dehydrate. So, inom ng anti-diarrheal and then inom ng water, no, para hindi rin ma-dehydrate. So, ginagamit naman siya para hindi naman hindi maging madalas naman yung pag-poop mo. Lalo na kung loose or watery yung inyong stool. Then, antipyretic is a drug that lowers fever or body temperature. Antipyretic. So, ito yung ginagamit natin para bumaba yung lagnat. Okay, next we have the prescription medicines. So, these are drugs that we can buy but with doctor's prescription or authorization. So, antibiotic, number 1 po talaga ito na hinihingaan ng prescription or hindi talaga kayo pagbebentahan sa mga butika kung wala kayong reseta mula sa doktor. It is an oral medication that requires prescription that combats and eradicates germs and other infections. So if you take it either as a pill or a liquid, you won't get sick again. So talagang mabisa talaga to. Pero kapag nasobrahan, hindi rin po ito maganda at nagamit sa hindi maganda. That's why hindi po talaga to ipinagbebenta nang wala tayong pinipresenta na prescription o reseta mula sa professional doctor. Okay, so next we have complementary medicines or therapy or additional methods that are used along with traditional medical approaches. So medications, immunotherapy, chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. It complements these traditional medical approaches. Okay. So, manipulation and body-based practices. Okay, so ito yung sinasabi natin kanina, such as massage, reflexology, chiropractic or osteopathic manipulation, and cupping. Okay, so but then, itong mga to ay kailangan ang gumagawa din ay madalas licensed, lalo na kapag yung mga chiropractic, yung may kinalaman sa mga yung nagiging common ngayon, yung nagpapa-adjust or yung may kinalaman sa buto natin. No, kailangan license at talagang marunong. Kasi kapag hindi, something might go wrong along the way. So, but for massage and reflexology, may mga trainings na ginagawa. So, at alam naman natin, when we use massage, malaking bagay din po ito para gumanda yung flow, yung circulation ng blood sa ating katawan. Then, cupping, marami siyang iba't ibang ways, pero yung pinaka-common is yung naglalagay ng cup para yung lamig naman sa katawan. Okay, mind-body techniques such as meditation, relaxation, and deep breathing, yoga, landscape therapy, music therapy, prayer therapy, biofeedback, hypnotherapy, and guided imagery or visualization. Yan, para kumalma yung ating pakiramdam or magkaroon tayo ulit ng focus to release then also the stress. Okay, energy forces therapy such as Tai Chi, Qigong, therapeutic touch, Reiki, acupuncture, and magnet. So yung acupuncture talagang traditional to, na way, lalo na sa mga ancient times, ginagamit na talaga nila yung acupuncture. Expressive therapy such as journal writing or art therapy and support groups. Diba may mga iba't ibang tayong groups na pwedeng puntahan kapag kailangan mong ma-express yung mga bagay-bagay sa iyong sarili. You can also use journal writing or yung iba naman to express themselves para mailabas nila yung bigat ng nararamdaman nila in form of art and yun nga in form of nagjo-join sila ng mga support groups. So lalong-lalo nang matunog ngayon yung tayong mga Pilipino, hindi natin masyadong binibigyang pansin yung mental health natin 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But now, very na siya, kumbaga matunog na siya na ngayon natin nakikita yung effects, yung hindi pag-aalaga sa mental health ng isang tao. Lalo na sa panahon natin ngayon na medyo very sensitive yung ating mga kabataan. And they really need a lot of support from their family, from their friends, from their relatives, and support groups as well para palakasin yung mental health. So that's why mahalaga rin yung pag-yoga, pagkaroon ng mga massage, para mabalik sa focus at the same time matulungan din sila. That's why mahalaga yung malam natin yung how to navigate yung emotion natin, yung stress natin, paano natin i-handle yung mga problems natin, paano natin siya haharapin. Okay, so other complementary approaches such as dietary supplements and herbal remedies and aromatherapy. So yung mga oils, mga essential oils, nakakatulong siya para kumalma tayo. Kapag hindi yung nakakatulong, oil, yung lavender oil para makatulong na ikalma yung ating sarili and then eventually mas nakakatulog tayo ng mas mahimbing. And napakarami pang ibang mga alternative and complementary approaches when it comes to curing or yung kumbaga ginagamit din natin siya, hindi lang yung iniinom natin na mga gamot. Pero lalo na yung massage, no? Talagang very, kung ayaw mo uminom ng gamot, kasi syempre kapag sobrahan ka rin ng kainom ng gamot, madadali din yung ating mga internal organs, yung kidney natin, di ba? So, kailangan maraming tubig ang iniinom natin. Or kung hindi ka naman mahilig uminom ng mga gamot, so yung mga mga herbal medicines natin, yung mga nilagang mga dahon, mga sambong, no, ng guyabano, yung lahat ng pwede, 'di ba, na makakatulong sa ating katawan. And then of course, sasamahan din natin 'yan ng healthy lifestyle. Okay, so we have here your lesson activity. Okay. So subtopic number 3 is all about prevention of medicine misuse and abuse. Okay, so it is very important kasi lahat ng sobra ay nakakasama. Like for example, yung marijuana, 'di ba? Talaga ang marijuana is gamot. Kumbaga pain killer siya, pain reliever siya. Pero in-abuse naman yung gamit. That's why naging addictive na siya, 'di ba? Yun yung form of abuse and misuse ng ating medicine or drugs. Kaya ngayon, kahit na helpful sana siya, lalo na dun sa mga patient na talagang medyo sobrang sakit, no? Yung pain na nararamdaman nila during treatment, parang napakahabang diskusyon pa bago illegalize, no? Pero dahil nga sa hindi magandang ginawa ng tao, in-abuse yung gamit. So that's why instead na makatulong sana siya sa mga patients who are in pain, ay hindi siya magamit. Okay, so what are some preventive measures or strategies you've heard or experienced to prevent the abuse and misuse of medicines? Are there preventive measures you have done in your home to address problems on the abuse and misuse of medicines? Okay, so let's try to answer that one. So, alright. So, preventing medicine misuse and abuse involves several strategies. One is education. Preventing misuse and abuse of medicines can be achieved by educating people about their proper usage, potential hazards, and side effects. Kailangan malaman natin, no, kung para saan ba ginagamit, paano ba yung tamang paggamit ng gamot para hindi ito maabuso. Ano ba ang mangyayari kapag hindi natin sinunod yung tamang dosage? Ano ba yung side effects kapag nasobrahan tayo ng gamit nito? Prescription monitoring programs. Prescription medicine diversion and abuse can be avoided by putting in place mechanisms to track prescriptions and keep an eye out for any indication of abuse or misuse. So, may tracking program sila. Safe disposal. Medication that is no longer needed or expired should be disposed of properly to keep it out of the wrong hands. Yan. So, safe and proper disposal. Prescriber education. It is essential to teach medical professionals proper prescribing techniques, such as avoiding overprescribing and recognizing abuse indicators. So, para ito sa ating mga doctors and at the same time, mga pharmacists natin as well. So, talagang sila yung mga maalam with regards to medicine. Alam nila yung mga alternatives and at the same time, alam nila kung saan hindi siya pwede. Yung mga yung mga hazards na kapag ginamit mo yung ganitong gamot. Access restrictions. Preventing misuse can be achieved by putting policies in place to limit access to specific medications, such as requiring prescription for opioids and other prohibited substances. Actually, we have an experience, no? Kasi dahil isa sa mga complication ng diabetes is yung UTI, no? And yung aking mom ay may UTI talaga siya ever since nagkaroon. Yun ang kanyang complication. So, dumating sa point na kumbaga marami ng hindi na tinatablan ng mga ordinaryong antibiotics. So, the last time na nagkaroon siya ng UTI is tinawag pa talaga, no, ng doctor. Humingi talaga ng permiso yung doctor to use that kind and specific antibiotic para lang ma-treat sa UTI ng mom ko. Ibig sabihin, nire-regulate nila at kumbaga may restricted talaga. Hindi siya basta-basta pwedeng ipagamit unless kailangan. Yan. So talagang doon pa sila sa head, no? Nagtumawag pa talaga para lang magkaroon ng permission to use that kind of antibiotic to treat the urinary tract infection. Okay, next is alternative pain management. Encouraging non-opioid painkillers and physical therapy as alternatives to help people become less dependent on potentially addictive medicines? Yes, because it can be addictive. That's why we always try to find other alternatives. So for example, dysmenorrhea, diba? It is very easy to drink painkiller, no? Ng pill or tablet. But kung kaya naman na hot compress, 'di ba? And then pahinga para hindi tayo masanay na umiinom ng painkiller kapag may dysmenorrhea, especially for the girls. Okay? Kasi magiging addictive na every time magkakaroon ka ng dysmenorrhea, automatic iinom ng painkiller. But hangga't kaya naman, tiisin or mawawala naman yun, magsasubside siya by the use of hot compress and then rest. So yun na lang ang gawing option. Community program, supporting community-based initiatives that educate the public about the dangers of drug abuse and offer assistance to those who are addicted. Treatment and support services, ensuring that people with substance abuse disorders have access to treatment and support services that can aid in addressing underlying issues that contribute to substance abuse and misuse. So what are the proper use of medicines? Okay, so we have here the question. So medication can help you feel better and recover from illness. However, medications might be harmful if you don't take them as prescribed. You can lower your chances of side effects from medicines by carefully following the direction on the medicine label or from your pharmacist, doctor, or nurse. Side effects may be mild, like an upset stomach. Other effects, like damage to your liver, or can be more serious. Some side effects can even be deadly. Okay. So we have here the steps to avoid problems with medicine. So you can just read it silently. Okay, for your lesson activity, okay, and lastly, for your short quiz, okay, and that's a wrap. So thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something from our lesson, especially with regards to the proper use of medicine and how it can help us, and of course, how it can harm us kapag hindi natin siya ginamit ng tama. So, thank you so much for listening. So, I hope to see you again next week. So, this is Teacher Aiza. Thank you and bye-bye!